Okay, folks, we're going live here a little bit, and here we go. I'm just trying to get the chat set up. I think it's loading. We don't know yet. But yeah, this video is okay. I'm chat live now. Okay, and here we go. Let's close that out. All right, this video is going to get spicy. This live stream is going to get spicy. Um, we're going to talk about what's going on in Minnesota right now. Um, and I have some strong views on this, but I'm open to others viewing, expressing their opinion. And I would actually like to see that in the chat if possible. But as we all know, Minneapolis right now is occupied by ICE forces, along with backing from the National Guard. And there have been some incidents. We'll call that. We'll just start with incidents. Um, and the protesters are getting much more agitated. And I was watching a video today, and all credit to the creator of the video. It's the Midas Touch channel and all their affiliates. Love you guys. All credit to you guys for the videos you put out. I watched that channel among a couple of other ones, smaller channels. And today I was watching that channel. They were doing a live feed from Minneapolis. Honestly, the reporters going there are a lot braver than I am. They're facing chemical attacks, use of tear gas, pepper balls, chemical sprays, which I'm assuming is pepper spray of some sort, or mace, something along that line. They're a lot braver than I am. Some of them are smart. They have, gas masks and stuff like that. But, there's supposed to be crowd control for their actions. And honestly, it's overdoing it. I'm going to say it this way, and I'm going to be blunt about it, and it's probably going to piss some people off, and honestly, I don't care. Because free speech is what this channel is all about. I think both sides, Republicans, Democrats, ICE, and protesters, have all kind of went off the deep end. It's I've seen things happen on both sides. I'm not going to take one side over the other. I have my personal views, which I'll express later. But I'm going to do something that I rarely do. I took some notes. I'm going to use my phone here to read them to you. Just so, I am reading off some bullet points here that I want to highlight. And I'm going to use calm terminology for reading it, and then I'll express my opinion on it. On January 7th of this year, ICE agent Jonathan Ross fatally shot Renee Good, a 37-year-old U.S. citizen in South Minneapolis during a enforcement operation sparking immediate protest. I think we all know that happened. That's kind of a fact here. I'll give you some facts, and then I'll give you my opinions. So, I'll try to separate them so you know what's fact, what's opinion. In the following day, January 8th, large demonstrations and rallies against the fatal shooting of Miss Good took place in Minneapolis, with protesters demanding accountability, and withdrawal, which of course we all know they didn't. They only actually called in more ICE agents and support units. And again, on January 14th, again this year, A federal ICE agent shot a Venezuelan man in the leg in North Minneapolis during a confrontation, triggering further tension and localized protest. We all know what happened. It's made the news, although some networks have tried to downplay it a little bit. Again, we'll touch on that later. And again, 4 days later, January 21st, continued protests and clashes were reported in Minneapolis as federal agents remained highly visible in neighborhoods, contributing to heightened community stress. You can look at various YouTube channels and news networks, you will see this. On January 23rd, tens of thousands of Minnesotans participated in a coordinated Day of Truth and Freedom economic blackout and mass protest against ICE operations in recent shootings. Again, we all know this has happened. January 23rd, as part of the January 23rd demonstrations, about 100 clergy members were arrested at a protest near Minneapolis St. Paul Airport for airlines to stop coordinating or cooperating with deportation flights. Again, this has been widely reported. On January 24th, Alex Preddy, a 37-year-old U.S. citizen, was fatally shot by federal Border Patrol agents in Minneapolis amid protest against immigration enforcement. Okay, now we've seen these shootings are becoming a pattern. Again, on the 24th, the shooting of Preddy and the broader unrest prompted Minnesota National Guard to be activated to assist with maintaining public safety during protests. We'll just leave it at yes, it has happened. Again, we will talk about it later. January 24th, due to safety concerns and around unrest tied to the protest environment, the NBA postponed a game for the Timberwolves, which, okay, we're done with the prompts now, which is actually surprising. NBA games make a whole lot of money. So to cancel a game is probably quite expensive. Now, just today, this morning, I believe it was, a 1-year-old man was shot and killed in Minnesota by ICE agents. These are all facts that can be verified. You can go on other YouTube channels, whether you watch your local news or not. That's up to you. I don't. But the only thing I think local news is good for is the weather anymore. Excuse me, I gotta stir my tea here right quick. So, now, for the opinion piece of this stream, and these are my opinions, solely my opinions. I am not a professional, not doctor, lawyer, whatever. I carry no degrees. These are only my opinions. I think they're the same opinions of a bunch of other people, but I'll just say they're mine for now. The killing of Renee Good, in my opinion, was outright murder. Plain and simple. The agent that shot her could have moved. Instead, he drew his weapon and fired into her vehicle, murdering her. I'm not going to say he killed her or whatever. He murdered a 37-year-old woman with a child. In my opinion, that man should be behind bars right now. And I think it's kind of funny that within minutes of this happening, minutes, not hours, not days, not weeks, minutes of the shooting happening, the Federal Justice Department, or Joke Department as I like to call them, come running out. It was self-defense. The woman's body wasn't even cold yet by the time they made that message. Hell, she was probably not even in the hospital yet when they made that message. How can you do a full investigation in 10 minutes? You can't. It's called a cover up. Plain and simple. It is a cover up. Unfortunately, by them covering that up and protecting that officer who committed bold-faced murder, it now gave ICE basically free reign to do whatever the hell they want because they know they will be protected. This is a very, very, very scary time. I consider myself an independent. I'm neither Republican nor Democrat. I judge by your history, how you vote, not what party affiliation you have. Now, since then, there has been 2, if not 3 more murders. And yes, I use the term murders by ICE agents, all being covered up. There's investigations going on, but okay, if a murder happens, or a shooting as they call it, it's murder. Why won't you let the state have access to the information concerning the case so they can do a thorough investigation and find out whether the officer was in the right or in the wrong? I can tell you that answer quite simply. They know he's in the wrong. They're going to cover it up, make it go away. This is sickening. I'm not saying all the protesters are 100% innocent. They're not. There are a few, how should we say, overzealous protesters out there who push their luck. I'm not saying all of them are innocent. But at this time, I think most protesters are fairly innocent. You know, yeah, are they trying to aggravate ICE? Yeah, probably. I'm not going to deny that. Are they trying to antagonize them? Are they trying to get them out of the city? Yes, I think we can all agree with that one. But, you know, are there mistakes being made on both sides? Absolutely. Um, I am just giving my opinion when I say that why does it take 4 trained officers? These are supposed to be trained officers with their wonderful 47 days of training. Why does it take 4 of them to slam a woman to the ground? Think about it. Why on the live feed today, even though I was kind of watching it on and off, why did they body slam a journalist and try to take his equipment? Did he record something that they didn't want anybody to find out? That's kind of what I'm thinking. Somebody in the crowd, I'm assuming probably affiliated with him, but again, I don't know, grabbed the equipment and took off. Um, and they were chased, but managed to get away uh, because of the crowd. They are now trying to suppress press coverage. The only press they want there are the ones that are going to show them in a favorable light. That's going to edit out all the body slams, the pushing, the shoving, the chemicals. Well, these are independent journalists that are out here. Oh, bad hair day, folks. Um, these are independent journalists who just want to record the truth. You know, as I watched, I watched it for about an hour, hour and a half of a live feed. During that time, there was probably 30 to 50 canisters of tear gas thrown into the crowd. And I don't know how many pepper balls. It's hard to track them. And I saw agents just freely spraying pepper spray. That is no longer crowd control. Then further along in the video I was watching, they had 3 military armored personnel carriers come in. Why do you need armored personnel carriers? These are the kinds that have the machine guns on top. And coming from someone who knows these vehicles quite well, um, the time it takes to come up and get in position to fire those weapons is seconds. But why do you need armored vehicles to go through a crowd that no one is armed? They have no weapons. Why you, instead of swinging around a airsoft pepper spray rifle, I'll refer to them as pepper spray or pepper ball, whatever. They fire the little, they look like paintballs, but they're full of pepper or the pepper chemical. Why, instead of using those, do you see multiple officers carrying weapons with live ammunition? We're talking fully automatic weapons. Why do you need that for crowd control against protesters that are executing their constitutional rights? You don't. This is no longer we're going in to arrest somebody. Well, instead of going in to arrest them, they just go in and shoot them and call it a day. Less paperwork, I guess. But these protesters are out here protesting the boldface and outright murder of people, of U.S. citizens. These are not illegal aliens. Renee Good, a U.S. citizen. She was murdered. I personally dislike violence. I try to avoid it if possible. But in Minneapolis, tensions are running exceedingly high. And eventually something's going to give. What it is, I don't know. Are the courts actually going to come through and make ICE follow the law? I don't know. Is it going to get violent? I hope it doesn't, because people are going to get hurt. People will probably die. I don't think anybody wants that. I don't think anybody wants to see that kind of violence. I personally don't. Pardon me. But, it's ICE keeps pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. And honestly, I'm not saying the protesters are wrong in Minnesota. Give me a moment here. Let me get a little tea here. But I just think at this point that everything is being pushed beyond its limits. I hate to see things go wrong and go violent, but I have a feeling it's going to eventually. I think that's the only thing this government's going to understand. And honestly, in my opinion, they're pushing to make it happen. Because if violence kicks off against federal officers, then the president or whoever can initiate martial law or the Insurrection Act, giving them full control. Think about it. Why would ICE continue pushing and shoving people who are protesting? I'm not saying 100% are peaceful, but probably the 95+% are peaceful. They don't want ICE there. Understandable. Why are they shoving them, slamming them, arresting them? Okay, media got you in a you saying something that you shouldn't. Okay, what do? They run, bum rush them, 5, 6, 7, 10 officers deep, slam that person to the ground, steal the media if they don't destroy the equipment, which has already happened to a couple of reporters now, where ICE has totally purposely destroyed their equipment, quote unquote, accidentally stepping on it with a very hard stomp. They are trying to suppress the media. They are trying to suppress the coverage. There has also been rumors, unverified, and this is totally unverified, that they are now using electronic jammers to keep people from live streaming or keep people from, connecting via social media, messages, whatever. Um, Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But if it is true, that's no longer a peaceful action. That's declaring war on an area. I think the reason they may be doing it, and it really would not surprise me if they were, because that's going to take out any Wi-Fi cameras in the area on people's homes, security cameras. That's going to take out the data for cellular service for running a live stream or being online or contacting people. It would give them more control. Um, so honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if they were. Whether it is, I don't know. Just rumor at this point. Until something's proven, I'm not going to say that it's fact. It's rumor. But yeah, I think what's going on out there is absolutely horrible. Yeah, if you have a legitimate warrant for a legitimate person and they are living at a certain address, yeah, okay, I can see you taking action to go to arrest that person, as any criminal case would. But if you're trying to say these administrative warrants that they're saying they have, all that is some bigwig at ICE signing off on it, leaving it to the officer's discretion, and they can claim administrative warrant. A judge has not signed off on those. That's why they do that, to avoid needing a judge, because judges are going to say, no, we're not doing it. Um, and they won't want that. They want everything their way. So they made up administrative warrant. And why would you detain journalists? I've been told I may be a bit of conspiracy nut, but when you take journalists, you throw them into a van and they disappear, nobody knows where they're at, kind of makes you wonder, is this America? You know, I'm a veteran. I fought for this country. I was wounded for this country. And I'll state it on here, plain and simple. Piss some people off? I don't give a shit. If it pisses you off, go away. I will fight for my country. I will fight for my family. I will fight for what's mine. I won't so much as raise a finger to fight for my government. Yeah, I probably pissed a whole lot of people off. I don't care, but that's how I feel. Whether it puts me on a list or not, hell, I'm probably on there already. But this government doesn't want the truth spoken. They don't want reality to come out. I hate to say it, but in my opinion, and yes, Republicans are probably going to get pissed here, Donald Trump is no longer has the mental capability to serve in the office of president. Release the real test results. Release his medical record, not a summary that some doctor was forced into making. Release the medical records, the real ones. Because if you do that, it's going to show severe cognitive decline, just like his father. Alzheimer's is hereditary. That's been proven. Fred Trump, for the last years of his life, was basically spoon-fed. Not literally, but they made him think he was working. They gave him a little office and put some papers in front of him and pretend, because he was no longer cognitively able to run his company. Now, his son, Donald J. Trump, who inherited a rather large sum of money from his father, several $100 million. I don't know the exact amount, but a rather large sum of money for most of us anyway. And now he's swindled, conned, bribed, whatever, to grow his empire. And now he thinks he's a king. He thinks he's a dictator. Hell, in one of his speeches, he even says, sometimes you need a dictator. And now he's talking about what? Running again? A blatant violation of the Constitution of the United States? Come on, people, see the reality. The reality of this is we have a president who lives in his own little fantasy land and wants to believe all these wonderful stories that he's such a wonderful person. Let's see, you've cut off healthcare for God knows how many millions of people. Oh, they can still buy it. Yeah. They were paying $200 a month for their healthcare, and now it's $2,000 a month. Don't know about you, but money like that is hard to come by. All right. You've blatantly attacked the press coverage. You've lied countless times. And even the leaders of other world countries think Donald J. Trump is a joke. When you have leaders of the free world across the country, whether it be United Kingdom, whether it be Spain, France, Denmark, wherever, take your pick, Canada, they think Donald J. Trump slipped off his rocker and needs to be put on medication and supervised 24 hours a day. He lives in his own fantasy land and tries to convince us it's true. I'm getting sick and tired of living day by day, prices going up. Oh, well, lower prices on the first day. Well, prices have gone up since he's been in office, pretty much nonstop. I'm going to have a healthcare plan. Well, where is it? You're almost a year in. When you got in office, you said 2 weeks. Well, how many times does 2 weeks happen in a year? Still, nothing. Blanco. Zip. Nada. I'm going to end the war in Ukraine in one day. Well, it's still going. Now think about it. It was all psychological warfare. He told a bunch of people a bunch of pretty lies to get elected. He took a lot of money from a lot of people, and now he's got to pay those favors back by placing people in government. He has to give people certain positions. If you people think that politics don't come into play when you're you know paying back your pals that donated 10, 20, 30, $50 million to your campaign. Hmm. But I think we all know better. Most of the Americans out there know the truth, whether they want to admit it or not. That's a whole nother ballgame. It really is. They're in denial. They're brainwashed, whatever you want to call it. I call it the MAGA cult. And now Donald Trump has come up with this a peace committee or whatever the hell he's calling it. I can't even remember the name he's calling it. It's such a joke. Oh, we're going to have everybody join. Everybody's going to join. It's all going to be happy, happy. Let's see. The only people who have joined are dictators. Think about it. You made a committee of peace or what? I can't remember what he's calling. The stupid little thing he created. Invited all the people of the or all the leaders of the world. Join my little committee of peace. Whatever the hell it's called. But you got to pay me personally. You got not the United States, but me. Donald Trump personally says you have to pay me personally $1 billion so I can put it in my bank account in Qatar. And guess what? He designated himself commander of this little committee, the only person on the committee with veto rights. He's got a few to join. Oh, Putin. What's his name from? Now I can't think of his name. Yeah, excuse me. My memory is not the greatest, but uh, you know, basically he's had the dictators join in, while the rest of the world, the rest of the countries of the world are just saying, "What the hell? We're part of the United Nations. Works good. We don't need a committee of dictators," which is basically what Trump's doing and making money in the process. You got to pay $1 billion to get in, and what are we going to say? $500 million a year to stay in, all going directly to his pocket, not to the United States Treasury. The oil that is being stolen, okay, seized, stolen. Guess what? That's being sold on the U.S. market. Guess where the money's going? Not to the U.S. Treasury. Oh, into his Qatari bank account that Congress has no oversight over. He's using our military forces, who, if they want to keep their career, must follow orders. As much as they may dislike them, they must follow orders. He's using our U.S. military to make himself billions of dollars. And now he thinks he's a dictator. I can do whatever I want. Well, if you make me mad, I'll just sick my dogs after you, i.e., ICE, the Justice Department, et cetera, et cetera. Anybody who disagrees with him openly, he's going to attack. That's not a democracy. It's like on this channel. I consider it a democracy. Because guess what? You want to disagree with me? Go for it. I don't mind. Well, I'll sit here and discuss it with you. I have no problem doing that. I'm not going to say, no, you're absolutely wrong. I'm going to say, well, tell me your point of view. You tell me your side. I will tell you my point of view, my side. And we can discuss it like adult human beings. No, Donald Trump will never do that because he knows he's wrong. He knows his time in office is dwindling quickly. So he's going to do everything he possibly can before midterms. And this ICE stuff, the threats against Iran, the whole Venezuela thing, the thing over Greenland, the whole new, community of dictators that he's making, and there's probably more that I can't think about, is all covering up one thing and one thing only, and that's the Epstein files. If you're such an innocent man, Donald J. Trump, if you are innocent in all of this, you say you're innocent, release the files today. An innocent man would release the file. An innocent man would not fight, go through courts, bribe people, threaten people to keep them quiet. Honestly, in my opinion, I believe his name is all over them, but my opinion here. And also, I believe that there's a lot of other big names all over them. I'm not going to mention names right now, but let's just say the one percenters, the people with money. I believe there's a lot of people with money that their names are all over them records. And if them files were ever to be dropped, you would have a whole lot of people taking their private jets to countries that no longer have extradition with the United States. They suddenly decide they want to go on a permanent vacation to wherever. Argentina. I don't think they have extradition. Wow. Everybody wants to retire to Argentina all of a sudden. Is it because they want to retire? Oh, we're done. I'm just gonna retire now. No. They know they're guilty as sin. And honestly, that would be the fastest way to find out who's guilty in that whole Epstein thing. Give them 24-hour notice. All records will be released at this time tomorrow. See how many people disappear out of the country. And those are your guilty parties. I think what happened on that island, horrible. Utterly horrible and despicable. And wherever else he wanted to act out. Do I think they deserve justice? Yes. Every single person deserves justice. Will they get it in the Trump empire? Absolutely not. It's not going to happen. And as we know, Mr. Epstein supposedly, allegedly ended his own life. I have my suspicions on that one. Kind of funny that cameras that work great 24 hours a day for the last how many years, suddenly for 14 minutes that this happened, or suddenly malfunctioning. Bit of a cover up, but hey, my opinion there. I expressed my opinion under my First Amendment right of free speech. Um, I think there's a lot of shady shit going on. You know, I think this government is so full of corruption, it's leaking out of their damn ears. Not just the president, senators, House members, other politicians, state level, whatever. It's full of corruption. And it's, at least years ago, they used to try to hide it. Now it's like, and so what? I'm going to do it. Nothing's going to stop me. And okay, say you catch me on some federal crimes, I'm going to get a pardon anyway. I'll get a pardon before I go to court. That's the scary part. Do I think JD Vance is much better? Maybe. I don't know. So if Congress does ever invoke the 25th Amendment, which after midterms will be a seriously considered option because they already have enough stuff on Donald Trump to convict to impeach him. That's here nor there. I mean, they've got enough already, not even with a full investigation. You know, if they do manage to impeach Trump, JD Vance becomes our president. I think he's power hungry, but I also think he realizes that he's going to be kept in check and watched closely. Basically, Congress is going to say, okay, we got rid of Trump, we can get rid of you, let's go. I think JD Vance would be out to save his own ass, should be what she knows tonight, than anything else. And if you notice, more and more and more of the quote unquote MAGA senators and House members are abandoning ship like rats when it's sinking. They know what's happening. They're bailing. At this point, they're saving their own bacon. Are they going to support Trump and go down with him? No. They're going to save their own bacon. So, like I said, these are my opinions and, just kind of what I'm thinking about. Minnesota, horrible. People are getting hurt. People are getting exposed to chemical weapons, which have long-term effects. Children are getting tear gassed and maced. People's children, 5, 6, 7-year-old kids. Okay, Johnny's walking home from the park where he was playing with his friends. Boom. All of a sudden, he's got a tear gas canister laying beside him. That can kill a child. And I'm being blunt. And I'll use the term, YouTube's probably going to beat me into this one and give me a warning, but screw it. Using chemical weapon agents against children can permanently cause health problems and can end their life if left untreated. Think about it. If you're walking down the street with your son or daughter, boom, tear gas, zero protection. Would you like that? Honestly, I'm surprised that Minnesotans haven't snapped yet, but they're using great restraint because they know ICE wants them to act out so they can proceed with further action. And the people there are using restraint. I got to give them credit. Personally, I'd have probably lost it a long time ago. Well, probably a good reason I'm not there. But it's gotten to the point now where it's not going to work anymore. This Gestapo mentality that ICE has right now is out of control. Some of you remember your history classes. Let's go back. Germany, 1938. Think about it. Looks a whole lot like United States, 2026. I think we all know what happened then. So I just want people to think about it. Try to think from both sides. Have both sides made mistakes? Absolutely. 100% both sides have made mistakes. Are both sides pushing the limits? Absolutely. Both sides are pushing the limits. Will something happen eventually? In my opinion, probably. What it is, unknown. Hopefully peaceful. To me, all life is sacred. I don't care who you are, whether you're a protester or an ICE agent. Your life is still sacred to me. I know that's probably going to piss some people off, but it's true. I don't want anyone to get hurt. I don't want anyone to suffer. And I truly hope this can be settled peacefully. I really do. And my prayers are for that, for all this god awful action that's going on in our country to end peacefully. Will it? I doubt it. But all we can do is try. I'm not advocating for one side or the other. I call it like I see it. I don't care which party you're with. I don't really care what your views are. You could be an extreme left Democrat. You can be an extreme right Republican. Guess what? Both your lives are equal in my eyes. Now, I just hope and pray for all the victims out there that have been harassed, abused, beaten, the families of those that have been shot, those that have been shot, my prayers go out to all of them. I hope this can be settled soon. I would like to see peace in this country. Will it happen? I don't know. And I only ask everyone watching this video, no matter what your beliefs are, please just take a moment and consider the opposite side. Do I think ICE is wrong for doing some of the stuff they do? Absolutely. Do I think some of the protesters are wrong for doing some of the stuff they do? Absolutely. Nobody's perfect. I'm not. I'm certainly not. I will never claim to be. I am as flawed as the next person. But I'm the type of person who tries to keep an open mind and see both sides. Is it always possible? Sometimes it's hard. All I ask is that people out there think about it, open your mind up a little bit. And how about instead of praying for victory, that we all pray for peace? That we all pray that no further lives are taken, that no one is injured on either side. How about we pray that a diplomatic solution can be found to all of this? I don't care what your faith is. I really don't. I don't care where you pray, how you pray, nothing like that. I don't care where you are in the globe, what color your skin is, whether you're male, female, transgender, whatever. Pray for peace. Killing each other is not going to solve the problem. It's not. It's only going to make it worse. So, like I said, I don't care what your beliefs are, what your religion is, nothing. We all can say a simple prayer of, please let there be peace, to however you see your gods, God or gods, however you see it. Just take a moment and just say, you know, however you want to pray, to whoever you pray to, please, can we have peace instead of war? Can we protect those lives that are sacred? Simple prayer. That's all I ask. I know this video will probably piss off people on both sides of the political spectrum, wherever you're at. I try to stay in the middle. I try to be independent. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I have my own personal views. I believe there should be full accountability on both sides. I believe there should be responsibility on both sides. I believe that, guess what? If you commit a crime, you're being prosecuted. Both sides. Now, the only thing that can bring this boiling pot back down, or as a friend of mine actually put it, this pressure cooker that's setting on high and nobody's hitting a release valve, is going to be people coming down, talking about things, and trying to work things out. There are a lot of people that can't be talked to. If you want to contact your representatives on a state and federal level, great. Your voice actually does make a little bit of a difference. You know, call your representatives, email them, whatever the case may be. Your voice does make a little bit of a difference. Whether you live in a red state, a blue state, a purple state, or a state that's got pink and white stripes, I don't care. Call them, email them. Let them know the opinion of the public. They are supposed to be serving you, not you serving them. It's supposed to be the president stays in office at the will of the people. That's quite obviously not happening. So I will close this video very politely, and I'll say it with you guys. Please let there be peace. We'll close, and I hope everyone takes the time to think about what was said on this video and try to open your mind up just a little bit. I wish everyone the best. Please stay warm in these horribly cold weather. If you need shelter, contact somebody. If you need help, contact people. Please stay warm in this weather. It's horrible out there. I was out today. But anyway, have a good evening, everyone. And my prayers go out to you. Thank you for listening.